sentence you to life in confinement without parole.
That's f***ing horse shit. You do whatever the f*** you want.
Why are they shutting my mic off?
I'm the federal witness of the United States federal government. I demand some goddamn respect, you. All I did was trespass on property.
Ma'am, you gotta create the community that you want to live in.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
For now?
Yes, Your Honor. I did file a pretrial detention motion in one of the cases.
Understood.
I can't hear the state, Your Honor. If you could ask her to repeat that into the microphone.
Sure.
Danielle Pinnell, on behalf of the state, I was letting the judge know that I did file a pretrial detention motion in one of the cases, Joanne Zephyr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And counsel, your name for the record, please?
Rachel Jones for the state.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Thanks, Ms. Jones. All right, welcome everyone. We are here for initial appearances. I'm sure you learned on that little video that initial appearances are really only for three things. Number one is to establish probable cause for the arrest that's already happened. Number two is to get an attorney on board for you if you qualify for the services of an attorney. And number three is to talk about conditions of bond, if appropriate, to get you back to your lives while these cases are pending. I understand many of you may disagree with what is in your charging affidavit. I completely understand that. That is a discussion for you and your attorney. And any disagreements with the charging affidavit are more appropriately handled by the trial judge, which is unlikely to be me. So although I know that you may disagree with what the facts are alleged in your documents, today's not the day for that discussion. So we're going to keep these proceedings limited to those three considerations. Ms. Smith, do you have any clients that need the assistance of an interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 4 clients that will need the assistance of an interpreter, and Corrections has asked that Mr. Jason Chandler go first. But the Spanish-speaking individuals are LaSalle Boston Aponte, the Jane Doe 619, Veronica Rivera Serrata, Justin Morales, and Sarah Yakuma Villarreal.
Thank you. State of Florida versus Jason Chandler, 2022 CF 1361.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thanks. Mr. Chandler, good afternoon. You were arrested based on allegations of possessing methamphetamine with intent to sell or deliver and possession of drug paraphernalia. I've taken a look at the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the arrest that's already happened. I'm going to set a bond in your case. Bond in count 1 is going to be set in the amount of $5,000. Bond in count 2 is going to be set in the amount of $500. I'm also going to impose pretrial release conditions with the special conditions that you not consume or possess any drugs or illegal substances, and you be randomly tested for any drugs in your system. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, if I could correct, I misspoke on one of the Spanish speakers. It's not Justin Morales, it's Reyes Octavo Coto.
Good evening, Your Honor. This is Ricardo Morales, Spanish interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Good afternoon. We've got a number of folks at the jail facility that are going to need your assistance this afternoon. You'll be doing the interpreting over the intercom system. Give me just a minute.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Ms. Smith, was one of them one of the folks that needed La Fuente? I have Jane Doe 619, Octavio Coto, and Yakima Villarreal. I didn't catch the
LaSalle, Boston, Aponte.
Aponte. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Got it. All right, State of Florida versus LaSalle, Boston, Aponte.
Muy bien, Estado de la Florida versus Sal Boston Aponte.
Good afternoon, sir.
Buenas tardes, señor.
Mr. Interpreter, this case is 22 CF 1293. Mr. Boston Aponte, you were arrested based on a warrant in 22 CF 1293.
Señor Aponte, usted fue puesto bajo arresto mediante la orden de arresto en el caso 22 CF 1293.
The arrest alleges one count of aggravated battery on a pregnant person.
Usted enfrenta un cargo de agresión física grave en contra de una persona embarazada.
Judge, I'm not sure I can make out their handwriting. One of my colleagues has found probable cause for that arrest.
Uno de mis colegas jueces ha encontrado suficiente indicio de criminalidad para su arresto.
You are entitled to a bond as to that allegation.
Usted tiene derecho a una fianza en cuanto a dicha alegación.
Mr. Marino? The face sheet indicates that this is non-domestic.
Según el expediente, esto indica que no es de naturaleza doméstica.
That seems to be incorrect.
Me parece que eso es incorrecto.
Yes, on the arrest affidavit it says non-domestic, but it might be incorrect as well.
Señoría, en el affidavit de arresto indica que no es de naturaleza doméstica, pero me parece que es incorrecto.
If it is domestic related, would Mr. Boston Aponte qualify for a bond plus pretrial release conditions?
No, Your Honor, he's currently out on diversion, on pretrial diversion.
De ser este un asunto de naturaleza doméstica, el señor Aponte, la sala Aponte, cualificaría para una libertad provisional.
Thank you.
Judge, based on the affidavit, it does appear to be domestic for a child in common, or the pregnancy.
Señoría, todo aparenta ser que este caso tiene que ver con uno de naturaleza doméstica.
I agree, Ms. Jones. Bond will be set in the amount of $3,500 with the special conditions that you not have contact whatsoever with the alleged victim while this is pending.
Su fianza se fija en el total de $3,500 y como parte de las condiciones especiales se le ordena que no tenga ningún tipo de contacto con la víctima en este caso.
You're not going to be permitted to return to the Lehigh Avenue address.
No se le permitirá regresar a usted a la dirección de la avenida Lehigh.
I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Designaré a un abogado de la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que le represente.
Ms. Smith, do you want to inquire as to your new client whether he needs to return for some personal belongings?
Fiscal, si quiere preguntar al acusado si necesita regresar a su hogar.
It appears that they do live together based upon the affidavit. We would ask for a one-time return to retrieve any belongings with law enforcement.
Basado en el affidavit, todo aparenta que él vive junto a la víctima y por tanto pedimos que se permita regresar en una ocasión acompañado de las fuerzas policiales para recoger sus pertenencias.
Mr. Boston Aponte, you may return to the home one time to get some personal belongings while this case is pending.
Judge, we'd
Señor
also
Boston Aponte, my apologies, counsel, if I can translate for a minute.
Go ahead.
Señor Boston Aponte, a usted se le permite regresar en una ocasión a su casa a recoger sus pertenencias acompañado de la fuerza policial.
Ms. Jones?
We'd also ask for no weapons or firearms.
Además pedimos que no tenga ningún tipo de arma ni armas de fuego.
As a condition of your bond, you're to possess no weapons or firearms.
Como condición de su fianza, usted no podrá tener ningún tipo de armas ni armas de fuego.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Sarah Yakuma Villarreal.
She is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Buenas tardes, señora.
Ma'am, you were arrested and based on an allegation of battery, domestic violence related.
Señora, usted fue puesta bajo arresto por un asunto de agresión física de naturaleza doméstica.
I find probable cause.
Determino que hay suficiente indicio de criminalidad.
Bond in your case will be set in the amount of $500.
La fianza en su caso se fijará en $500.
You're to have no contact with your mom until further order of the court.
Usted no podrá tener ningún tipo de contacto con su mamá hasta tanto el tribunal indique lo contrario.
You're not to return to the Reef Club apartment until further order of the court.
Usted no puede regresar al apartamento Reef hasta tanto este tribunal ordene lo contrario.
Court will allow you to return one time to get some personal belongings while this case is pending.
Este tribunal le concederá una única oportunidad de regresar a su casa para recoger sus pertenencias.
And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Y designaré un abogado de defensor público para que le represente. I have a question.
Let me advise you that you should not talk about the facts of the case with the court. You're being recorded, and I don't want you to say anything inadvertently that would cause you more difficulty.
Permítame apercibirle que usted se encuentra aquí en vivo y le aconsejo que no hable nada de los particulares de este caso para que se evite problemas en el futuro.
With that information, do you want me to know something?
Ya que sabe esta información, usted como quiera desea que yo sepa algo.
Lo único que quiero saber es si en el momento que vaya a ir a recoger mis pertenencias en Reef Club, yo tengo un bebé de 1 año, si puedo irme con mis pertenencias y mi hijo.
All I want to know is when I get to get my belongings in the Reef Apartments is that I have a baby, and I was wondering if I can get my belongings along with my baby.
I'm not aware of any legal impediment that keeps you from having custody of your child.
No conozco ningún impedimento legal que impida que usted esté con su hijo.
I understand that this disagreement may have been about the child and where he's going to live or she's going to live.
Entiendo que este desacuerdo se debe a este niño o niña y dónde va a vivir.
The court has instructed that you may only return with law enforcement and they may be able to help you sort out that situation.
Este tribunal ha ordenado que usted regrese una vez acompañada de las fuerzas policiales a su hogar a recoger sus pertenencias y ellos pueden ayudarle a usted a resolver este asunto.
Thank you.
Judge Stade would again
Gracias.
ask for no weapons or firearms.
Court will order that the defendant have no weapons or firearms while this case is pending.
Este tribunal ordena que el acusado no tenga tenencia de ningún tipo de arma ni arma de fuego mientras el caso se encuentra pendiente.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Jane Doe 619.
My apologies, Your Honor. Can I have the case number for this last case?
Of course. Sorry about that. That case number was 22MM1075. This case number is
Thank you, Your Honor.
22MM1070.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ma'am, we're going to place you under oath.
Señora, vamos a ponerle usted bajo juramento.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm?
¿Me puede repetir, por favor?
Can you repeat that once more?
We're going to place you under oath. If you would raise your right hand for us.
Vamos a tomar su juramento. Por favor, levanta la mano derecha para que preste juramento.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Jura o promete decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad, lo jura ante Dios.
Lo juro.
I swear.
Ma'am, would you share your name with me, please?
Señora, ¿podría indicarme su nombre, por favor?
Verónica Rivas.
Veronica Rivas.
Thank you. Ms. Rivas, you were, you can put your hand down. Thank you.
Puede bajar la mano, señor Rivas. Gracias.
Ms. Rivas, you were arrested based on an allegation of retail theft.
Señora Rivas, a usted se le acusa de hurtar en tiendas.
I find probable cause.
Determino que hay suficiente indicio de criminalidad.
Your bond will be set in the amount of $500.
La fianza será fijada en $500.
You're not to return to the scene where this is alleged to have occurred, which is the Walmart neighborhood market.
Se le ordena no regresar al lugar en donde ocurrieron los hechos, en Walmart Market.
I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests.
Designaré a un abogado de la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que defienda sus intereses.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora. Thank you.
State of Florida versus Reyes Eduardo Octavio Cotto, case number 2021 CT 2923.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thanks. Good afternoon, sir.
Buenas tardes, señor.
Sir,
Good afternoon.
Sir, you were arrested based on a violation of probation allegation warrant signed by Judge Sanders Morency.
Señor, usted fue puesto bajo arresto debido a un incumplimiento con su régimen de libertad vigilada y la orden de arresto fue expedida por la juez Sanders Morency.
The warrant alleges that you picked up a new law offense sometime on March 10th, 2022.
Dicha orden alega que usted cometió un ilícito para marzo de 2022.
There's also an allegation of another offense on March 1st, 2022.
También se alega otro ilícito en marzo 1 del 2022.
That you failed to complete some classes.
Usted incumplió con completar unos cursos.
And you failed to pay a cost of supervision.
E incumplió con pagar unas costas de supervisión.
Judge Sanders Morency issued no bond and you will remain on no bond.
La juez Sanders Morency dictaminó no fianza y usted permanecerá sin fianza.
I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests.
Designaré a un abogado de la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que defienda sus intereses.
Thank you.
Gracias.
State of Florida versus Joanne Zafir. Mr. Interpreter, thank you very much for your assistance.
She is present and
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
You as well. Ms. Smith, is Ms. Zafir a current client of the Office of the Public Defender?
She is not, Your Honor, but we would ask for appointment at this time.
Court will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Ms. Zafir. The case number is 22 CF 1360. Ms. Zafir, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Judge Laurent issued a warrant with the following allegations: attempted murder and aggravated child abuse. She has issued no bond as to count one. As to count two, there is a motion for pretrial detention that is filed. You will remain without bond pending the resolution of that motion. I don't have any additional court dates to give you at this time. Thank you. State of Florida versus Eric Matos.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Mr. Matos. Okay, thanks. Mr. Matos, You were arrested based on an out-of-county warrant. That's a writ of bodily attachment. I guess you owe money to somebody. The bond amount is $1,178. So that is your bond amount. It appears that this is a child support writ of bodily attachment. And Ms. Smith, are you guys accepting appointments on out-of-county warrants while they're in the jail? All right. Thanks. Marion County will be noticed, and they'll come get you if you don't bond out. Thanks. State of Florida versus Rocky Furtado.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thanks. Mr. Furtado, good afternoon. You were arrested based on an allegation that you failed to appear for arraignment. The case number is 2021 CF 3218. Judge Nix Walker issued no bond. You're going to remain on no bond until you can get in front of her or one of her colleagues, let them know what's going on. And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests if they weren't previously appointed. Thanks. State of Florida versus Adam Martinez.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Mr. Martinez. You are with us based on an allegation that you have violated probation in 2005, CF 2178. The allegations are some electronic monitoring allegations. This will be in front of Judge Young. Judge Young has issued a warrant based on the affidavit. That warrant has no bond. You're going to remain on no bond until you can get in front of Judge Young. And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender if not previously appointed. Thank you. State of Florida versus James Medier. Good afternoon, Mr. Medier. Mr. Medier, you were arrested in 22 CF 1278. A judge has already found probable cause for your arrest, alleging armed robbery with a weapon and grand theft. Ms. Jones, I believe count one is a first-degree felony allegation entitled to consideration for bond. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge, it does have the weapon attached to it as well, though.
Understood. And is there any motions for pretrial detention that have been filed at this point?
Not for pretrial detention, Judge, no.
Thank you. Mr. Medier, I have reviewed the affidavit already, and I am going to set bond in count one, the amount of $50,000. As to count three, you have a bond in the amount of $2,500. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Your bond in 22 MM 205 is revoked and set at none based on the court having probable cause to believe that you committed a new law offense while you were released on release in that case. The same is true as to 22 CT 657. Your release is revoked and your bond is set at none in that case as well. So I'm sure your attorneys will be working on that for you. Thank you.
For the record, Judge, he has private attorney.
Okay. All right, counsel, I believe Mr. Medier has private counsel. Is that on this case as well?
On this case, I see the notice of appearance.
All right, I'm going to withdraw the PD appointment on 22 CF 1278. We have a notice of appearance from private counsel. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Justin Sanders.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders, you were arrested based on allegations that you missed court. There was a failure to appear for a plea certain in front of Judge Epperson. He has issued no bond in that case. That's 21 CT 3572. There is also a bench warrant in 21 CT 3573 for the same situation. Judge Epperson issued no bond. You're going to remain on no bond until you can get in front of him, let him know what's going on. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender if they weren't previously on both of these cases. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus James De La Rosa.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thanks. Mr. De La Rosa, good afternoon. You were arrested based on an allegation of battery, domestic violence, strangulation, battery, domestic violence, and hindering communication. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause in this case. Count 1 is you are entitled to bond. You'll be assigned a bond in the amount of $3,500. As to count 2, your bond will be in the amount of $1,000. As to count 3, your bond will be set in the amount of $500. I find probable cause for each allegation. As a special condition of your bond, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim, in this case, Ms. De La Rosa, until this gets sorted out. You're also not permitted to return to the Catalina court address. I will allow you to return one time with law enforcement to get some personal belongings while this case is getting sorted out, and me or one of my colleagues can address any requests to amend the conditions of your bond in the future. Thanks.
And Judge, if I can just put on the record that he does have a 2011 misdemeanor battery that was no build, a 2010 home sale solicitation that was given a withhold, a 2008 child abuse that was a withhold, and the state's also asking for no weapons or firearms.
Court's going to impose no weapons or firearms as a condition of your bond. Thank you. State of Florida versus Dante Washington, 22 CT 1478, 22 CF 1364.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thanks.
Can I get that name one more time? Sorry, Judge.
Dante Washington.
Thank you.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington, you have a family member here with me in court. Sir, are you just observing? Okay, no problem. This is an open courtroom, and you're welcome to be here. Mr. Washington, you were arrested in 2 cases, 22 CT 1478 and 22 CF 1364. The allegations in 22 CT 1478 are that you were driving without a valid driver's license. I have read the charging affidavit and do find probable cause for that allegation. I'm going to set a bond in that case in the amount of $500. Your more serious case is 22 CF 1364. The allegations are robbery with a firearm and petty theft, first offense. I have read the charging affidavit in the case and do find probable cause for the allegations. Count 1 is a punishable by life offense. You're going to have no bond on that offense. And count 2 is a misdemeanor. I will assign a bond in the amount of $500. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender. They can get you in front of your trial judge to consider a bond as to count 1 and 22 CF 1364 after the court and the state has some additional information. Thanks. State of Florida versus Alexis Espinal, 22 MM 1071 and 22 MM 1072.
Your Honor, defense does have a probable cause argument regarding the stalking charge.
All right, thanks. Mr. Espinal, good afternoon. You were arrested on 2 cases, 22 MM 1071. That was an allegation of violation of a domestic injunction. 22 MM 1072 is an allegation of stalking, domestic violence related. As to count 1, I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond, count 1 as to 22 MM 1071. I find probable cause. Bond in that case is going to be set in the amount of $2,500. Mr. Moreno, does Mr. Espinal qualify for mental health pretrial or pretrial release with mental health conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Court is going to impose pretrial release with mental health conditions as to count 1. A special condition pursuant to pretrial with mental health conditions is that you not return to the Parkway Boulevard, apartment 206 address. You have no contact with your mom, Ms. Blanco. As to count 2, Ms. Smith, whenever you're ready.
Yes, Your Honor. Per Florida Statute 784.048, For stalking, you have to engage in a course of conduct directed at a specific person which causes emotional distress to that person and serves no legitimate purpose. In the charging affidavit, it does say in here that he did show up because he was looking for his shoes. He was trying to get them from the residence, which is a legitimate purpose. She is his mother. There isn't anything in here that says otherwise he's specifically harassing her in any way, shape, or form, just that she is scared of him because of his mental health conditions.
All right, I understand the argument, Counsel. Ms. Blanco has a injunction against Mr. Espinal returning to the property. Again, anything the court is not going to find is a legitimate purpose. And
I didn't think that it was her that had the injunction. I thought it was her boyfriend.
It was her boyfriend,
oh, okay, give me just a sec to take a look.
and he wasn't at the residence. So.
And Judge, even if he lives at the residence, I'd have to take a look at the injunction to see, because he might still not be able to return to that location.
I'm looking at the language that was included in the charging affidavit. It says he can't go back to that location. My document indicates that, let me take a look.
I do see
This is the petitioner, Jose Cruz Govea Morales. Let me take a look.
And Judge, while you're pulling that up, that address is, per the affidavit, is specifically listed in the injunction, hence the violation of injunction. So there still would not be a legitimate purpose for him returning to that location.
The fifth paragraph on page 2 of 3 indicates that ongoing issues and in the past has made threats. I'm going to find that arriving at the residence was not a legitimate purpose and find probable cause for the stalking allegation. I'm going to set a minimal bond on that case, on that count, in the amount of $250 plus mental health, pretrial release with mental health conditions. Again, on that count, he is not to return to that location as there is an active injunction, and he's not to have any contact till this case gets sorted out with Ms. Blanco.
Judge, the state would again ask for no weapons or firearms. I imagine that's already a condition of the injunction, but just to be safe.
Mr. Espinal is not to possess any weapons or firearms pursuant to this bond, and I'm certain the domestic violence injunction.
What was the bond?
$2,500 as to count 1 with pretrial release with mental health conditions, no contact, no return. $250 as to count 2 with the same mental health pretrial release. Thanks. State of Florida versus Horta Rodriguez.
She is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Horta Rodriguez, you were arrested based on 2 allegations. One allegation is in 22 CF 1363. That's an allegation of possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis. I find probable cause and will set bond in that case in the amount of $1,500. As to 22 MM 1073, that's an allegation of battery, domestic violence related. I do find probable cause for that allegation. We'll set bond in that case in the amount of $1,000 with the conditions that you not return to the Lanier Road address. You have no contact with
Yasmin Hall.
Yasmin Hall. Thank you. You not possess any weapons or firearms. Thank you. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender if they weren't previously appointed. State of Florida versus Justin Morales.
Yes, President, approaching Your Honor.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Mr. Morales.
Good afternoon, Judge.
You got a bunch of stuff with us. You got 3 pending cases. One is 22 MM1074. That's an allegation of resisting an officer without violence. I find probable cause for that allegation. I'll set bond in that case in the amount of $500 and appoint the Office of the Public Defender. You've got 21 CF881. That is an allegation of violation of probation. I issued a warrant for your arrest. The allegation is that was another law offense alleged to have occurred on April 16th, 2022. You're going to be in front of Judge Young. I signed the warrant. The warrant has no bond. You'll remain on no bond until you can get in front of Judge Young. Let him know what's going on your VOP case. And as to 22 CF1116, Ms. Jones, was he out on some form of release on that case for Officer Marino?
Can I get that case number one more time? Judge?
Sure, it's 22 CF1116.
Yes, Your Honor, he was out on bond.
And let's see.
On April 18th.
The new law offense is alleged to have occurred on May 10th. That would have been when he was out on bond. Court's going to find there's probable cause to believe that Mr. Morales committed a new law offense while he was out on bond. The court's going to revoke his bond in 22 CF1116 and set bond the amount of none. That one as well is in front of Judge Young. Thanks. And Ms. Jones, Office of the Public Defender are appointed on all of Mr. Morales' cases. Thanks. State of Florida versus Fernando Ramos, 22 CT 1477. Mr. Ramos, you are here with us based on an allegation of a new law offense in 22 CT 1477. That allegation being driving while license suspended or revoked. That revocation was apparently by court order in August of 2021. I will assign a bond in that case in the amount of $500 and appoint the Office of the Public Defender. Unfortunately, you're out on bond on a misdemeanor allegation that alleges use of a firearm. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case, set bond the amount of none until you can get in front of that judge and let them know what's going on. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender in 22 MM 0746. Your bond in that case will be set in the amount of none. Thanks. Mr. Smith, that was the last of your clients that I see in my list. Any additional folks that need?
That is it, Your Honor.
Thanks for your help. Ms. Jones, thank you.
Thank you.
Officer Moreno, thanks.
Hey.
Let's get Mr. Sullivan on his way. Thanks.
I think I have paperwork for you. Okay. I thought you said.
We can call a technical and have them disconnect our jail feed.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.